Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Magyana Timiranda Senyana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurvanmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Mugam Karodi Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bandi. Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Pataga Swami Niti Namini. Namo Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayini Gaurakata Ramadaya Nagaragrama Tarini Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, how are you all doing?
Fine, Mataji.
Thank you for that response. Okay, so I want a very quick feedback because I had one or two of my dear participants, they told that yes, the mantra introduction, invocation, and mantra 1, they were very clear about the purpose and all. They were able to even remember, but other purports are little vague, and we're not able to remember so well. So, what is the way to remember this? So I think it's a genuine question, and it is for everyone. So two things I thought is, of course, you will be writing essays, you will be writing exams, and later you will start preaching. That time, anyway, you will remember everything every time. So now the thing is, as you use, you will remember. But still, I feel a little out of place that I want to give a overview of what we already saw. Because we are going to finish the fifth sloka and go to the next thing. I'm very sure we'll be going a lot faster in Bhagavad Gita and all. We would have set with our base. But right now we have just started, we are warming up. So first thing, what I need is go here. So a quick recap of what we already saw and what is there in those slokas. What exactly is there in the slokas? You should be very thorough because tomorrow you may be becoming teachers. So after this Bhakti Shastri, we will put you through the Bhakti Shastri teachers training course. So it's an international course. Anytime, anywhere, you should be able to take it. So for that, you should be thorough with the concepts. Otherwise, if there are some weak spots, then you will always feel insecure in those areas. So better to know thoroughly. So I would like to go through. Today will be a proper one-sided session. Maybe in between I may ask some questions. You just need to answer. Any one of you can answer one or two of you. Okay. Let me go. So very quickly we are going to go through. But already you have seen the mantra 1 introduction and all that. So if you go through everything, it will become very late. So, okay. Any of you can tell me what is the summary of mantra 1? What is mantra 1?
Mataji,
Isavasyamidam Saram means everything is just belong to Krishna, and for every living entity, we have some quota, and we have to means take that one only and put aside which is not belong to know that it belong to someone else or it belong to Krishna.
Very
So
good.
yeah, this is the
Very good. Very good. So everything belongs to Krishna and we should know our quota and use it. This is what we learned. Okay. Mantra 2. Somebody else? Don't look at your book. Just like that, you should be able to say. You can look at the book, but don't repeat it from the book just because I'm asking first. Genuinely, what you have understood, you just tell. Do you remember any of you? I think the vagueness starts from here. It was everybody is very clear with the first verse. Huh? What is that second verse about? So I want to give a quick recap of it. And before that, I would like to show you one single slide. One single slide, 1 second.
मतलब
Mm,
हाँ, जो ये समझता है कि सब चीज बिलोंग करता है कृष्ण भगवान को और हमको अपना कोटा यूज करना चाहिए, तो ऐसा लोग मतलब लाखों हजारों सॉरी मतलब हंड्रेड्स ऑफ ईयर तक जिंदा रह सकता है, क्योंकि दे आर मीन्स ऑन द सेम वे और ऑन द
mm.
राइट ट्रैक
Okay.
अदर
What about the mantra 5? Sorry, 3. Correct. That also again you are just repeating the translation. So purports ke andar to. Okay, so I'll just give you a short. Mm, mm. Look here. Okay, this is like this. Mantra 1 to 3 summary, if you see, Mantra 1 says that the Krishna is the supreme proprietor. Ishavashyam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to Krishna. And Mantra 2 says that if you accept Krishna as the supreme proprietor in that consciousness when you perform, then you can keep on living for hundreds of years without any karma. That is akarma. Karma, akarma, vikarma comes under this topic, Mantra 2. And Mantra 3, if you say, Atmaha, the one who is the killer of the soul. Who is the killer of the soul is who doesn't reject Krishna as supreme proprietor. He doesn't accept the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord. So the one who accepts the Lord as the supreme proprietor is akarmi. He can perform various activities in that consciousness. It is not, and he can act in that consciousness. It's not going to affect him. It's not going to bind him with karma. So he's neither karmi or vikarmi, but he's akarma person, devotee. So the mantra 3 says that if you reject Krishna, what is the danger? Okay, so in mantra 2, we saw that the karma, akarma, vikarma, and all that, and how one can live like without touching the karma. And mantra 3, we saw that the various animalistic, you will fall, the person who's rejecting will fall into darkest region of ignorance, which is animalistic life. We saw camel, asses, and all that. Animalistic life is very dark and dense. And if we keep on living like animals and having propensity of animals, not interested to accept the supremacy of the Lord, and He is only guiding, taking care of the entire creation. If you don't have that consciousness, if you are not performing, sometimes we may think, okay, some people became devotees, some people didn't become devotees. What is wrong? Something seriously wrong. They are going towards hellish regions, and mainly they are going into lower species of life, and they have to work their way up. And in the middle of this, we discussed about what is the quota which is given to us, where the meat and vegetables, and then that quota also has to be offered to Krishna by accepting Krishna as supreme proprietor. So not just being vegetarian won't suffice, because there are sadhu animals also. The person will go into the lowest, darkest region. If he eats without offering, then he will become even like a goat or something, which is very sattvic, sadhu kind of thing. But still it's in the like this totally out of darkest region. Means cannot speak, cannot express. So even the hands, fingers, these things, they are very high-fi manifestation body we have actually. So this is what we saw in the Atmaha and all. So I would like to go back to in this and give a quick review of 3 and 4. Like a reminder, I just would like to give it as a reminder so that you should know why we are discussing what we are discussing. If you are discussing about meat eating, if you are discussing about vegetarianism, and then no, more than vegetarianism, prasadam is better. Why are we discussing that there? What is the purpose of that discussion there? Is because it is relevant to that verse we are discussing about that. So what is the relevancy if one doesn't accept? So we saw, so here that we also saw that the internal, oh Krishna, what is the problem here? Just a second. So in the due course of this, we were discussing, okay. So this we saw that the no one wants to die because the living entity is eternal. This is a person who is ready to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I didn't show this, but later I created this. So for you to understand what is the relationship between Supreme Lord as a controller, external energy, and the living entity. So the Supreme Lord is the direct controller of both the living entity and the external energy. Like this yellow line you see here. This yellow line is nothing but Krishna is the controller of all his energies. So the external energy and the living entity. But for a liberated soul, he is directly taking control. But for a person, conditioned soul, who is karmi or vikarmi, karma, vikarma, either who does good things or bad things, they are all in the jail. So external energy is a jail, and she is like a jailer, and the conditioned soul who want to enjoy all for themselves doesn't accept the proprietorship of Krishna. They are all conditioned souls and they work under good and bad. So never think that good is actually Krishna consciousness. It's not like that. Both good and bad are prisoners only. Very good prisoner, very bad prisoner. Well behaved prisoners will be there. And within the prison itself, there will be some people who may not be very cooperative with the authority, jail authorities. So there will be bad person within the jail and bad good person within the jail. So this is a large crowd. But Manushyanam Sahasreshu, of thousands of such living entities, somebody will inquire, and if they inquire, then they later find Krishna. The one who finds Krishna, who serves Krishna. In this way, thousands and thousands, there will be somebody. And that liberated soul, either in the spiritual world or in the material world, they are directly under the loving care of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Others are also cared for, like for example, if the king is there, the king will have his own kingdom, and many citizens will be there. All the citizens will be considered as the son of the king only. But the king will have a princess, he will have some child for himself. Even though all the citizens are children, but there is a special care for the direct children of the Supreme Lord. Same way, when there are devotees, they are given, even though Krishna is impartial, but because they are showing loving affection, he will reciprocate accordingly. Because he is reciprocating, it seems like he is partial, but Lord is not partial, he is equal to everybody. And if especially somebody is showing affection, he will show back affection. He cannot be without showing back affection. So this connection is there with the devotee or a liberated soul. And they are considered akarma or intelligent, the most intelligent person who may be living in the material world also, but they may be outside the clutches of Maya. So that is Maya. Durga is like a jail. So within the jail there are like, and in the king has one. his own children. 2, he has citizens. And among the citizens, there are some good citizens and there are bad citizens who are thief, robbers like this. Then in that citizen also, if when a jail is created, within the jail, there may be still more further bad people, good people within the jail also. So in this way, Krishna creates a jail as for the people who are not subordinate. And in spiritual world, he has his own children. Then, of course, all the liberated soul here, like Prahlad Maharaj and if you see Narsimha Dev, they are very closely tied up, like a son and the father only. How the father will come to protect the child. Same way, but the so-called father of this material world, he tried to kill the baby. He tried to kill Prahlad. So conditioned souls, there may be good, bad, whatever. So sometimes when Mahabharata and everything described in India, so what they do is they describe in other, who are not properly educated through Acharya Parampara, then they say that, why did Krishna appear? So they say that to kill the bad people and to save the good people. God, when does God come? The God comes to save the good people and kill the bad people or punish the bad people. No, good or bad in the material world, both are bad only. God comes to protect his devotees, not just protect. For protecting also, he can send his agents to protect the devotees also. But he wants to show loving reciprocation to the devotees. So he comes. So this is the difference. This is the relationship between Krishna, the external energy, and living entity. So the living entity, only when this red line you see here, between the external energy and the living entity, that is applicable only for karma and vikarma. Karma is good karma, good activity. Vikarma is bad activity. A means no. V means negative. V means to or in a badder sense. A means never, not. So akarma means he's continuously acting, but he doesn't acquire any karma of this material world. So that is a devotee. For example, if I'm going in the street and I'm seeing an apple in the tree, wow, very nice apple. And I want to enjoy it. So I pluck it and eat it. So the owner of that bahicha will also come to shout at me or call me a thief or whatever it is. That is secondary. But primarily, I didn't cultivate that apple, but I ate it. So I need to return back some either money I need to give or I need to give my labor. If I don't do it, I have to return back to give it back to that person. But at the same time, that apple, when even after purchasing, I need to offer it to Krishna and then take it. So just because it is there doesn't mean that everything belongs to you. When you go in the street, you see a beautiful tree and there are some mangoes hanging or some lychee fruits, or in India, we cannot say much of an apple, except you're from Ooty or somewhere, you can see apple, plums and all. Some cold places, but some mango is hanging there and you just want to enjoy it directly, then you get entangled in karma. You have to repay that person somehow or other. But at the same time, you have take that apple, offer to Krishna, and then you take it. Then you already gave to the proprietor. Krishna is the supreme proprietor. Then you took it. That doesn't mean that you can steal and offer, because Krishna wants to take that apple willfully given. Apple or mango. Without a willingness, if that person is giving, then Krishna, without his willingness, if you steal it, then Krishna doesn't want it because it's not given with love. So Krishna is observing love from that. And of course, you are offering with love, but you didn't ask the owner of that apple tree or mango tree. So if it's with the permission of the owner, the so-called temporary owner or quota person, Krishna has given that mango tree quota to another person. So that person has to be asked permission from. So like this. So that's the 2, 3 many examples can be given. The best example Prabhupada gives in another place as the king. King has citizen also, king has his own child also. So devotees are like his child and the citizens are taken care by many administrative heads. So here in this picture also we can see the 3 modes of material nature working on the conditioned souls. how it is. So there were some questions about it. Of course, we will come elaborately in Bhagavad Gita. So we are not going to dive deep into this subject at all. This only mention is given. Karma, karma, vikarma. Just a mention and one small definition is given here in Isopanisad. And then there are 84 lakh species of karma bandhana means what? 84 lakh species of life forms are there in this universe, out of which 80 lakh species are animals, birds, reptiles, all those insects and all that. But they don't have karma because they are pre-programmed with their what they eat, how they live, what they speak is pre-programmed. So they just live within that, so they don't have karma bandhana. But the 4 lakh species, which are human forms of life, human variety, they have the permission to choose the action and reaction. Why? Because they are given better facility, the human species, and the purpose for giving the better facility is to search for God, search for their source. I have a temporary body. My grandfather died. My grandmother died. And my parents are becoming elder. Maybe they also, one or two of us, we have seen them die. That means my body is also temporary. And I see the person who's born is dying, then my body also will get destroyed. So where will I go? Will I be there? What will happen to me? And who created like this? Who made this entire system? We are very expert in explaining the system, but who created the system at first place? This entire world and universe. There is sun, moon, there's night light and daylight. Daylight is sun and the night light is moon, like this. Who created the system? So it's very systematically happening. So, and who's my source? Either in bodily, my father's father's father, who is that? And if I think if I understand myself as a spirit soul also, what is my source? Where from I come? Whose part and parcel am I? I am in ignorance even about my previous life, previous to previous life. I'm forgetful totally. And even I'm forgetful when I was a baby, what happened to me. My parents only have to say, when you were a baby, you did this, you did that. I don't even know what I did. And a third person has to tell me. So where from this ignorance came? What is this puzzle of life? So the human body is given better facility to solve this puzzle. Everybody is interested in games. So this is a life game where you solve your the puzzle of your existence, the puzzle of death. That is the purpose where higher facilities are given. So that's what karma, akarma, vikarma we saw. Then karma is, it will bind, it's a pious action, which will bind a person with good result and it will result in enjoyment. And in order to enjoy that, we need to come back again. And when we come back again to enjoy the result, we may do bad things. And the inaction in action is liberating one from material bondage, which is worshipping Krishna, which is akarma. So the good is on your left and on the right, you have on your right, you have that forbidden action, meat eating, gambling, illicit sex and intoxication, primarily forbidden action. So what we do is we do akarma and we avoid the forbidden action. That's all, very simple. So we worship Krishna, we chant Krishna's names, we offer bhoga to him and take prasadam. In this way, we read about him, we hear about him, do devotional service also. And in this concept, it will break the bondage, material bondage. So we saw good, bad, good, and intelligent work. So what is the greatest danger here? He is gliding down. If you do this activity, the last activity, which is a bad activity, even when you do good activity, you may result in another species, but that may be either human or it can be demigod or something like that. But especially if you do meat eating, gambling, illicit sex and intoxication, these kind of bad things, also forgetful of Krishna, will lead you into darkest region. What is the darkest region? Lower species. Going into lower, falling 84 lakh species, 80 lakh species, you cross, and it came. And even if you fall 1 or 2 lakh species below, again you need to live 1 lakh lives to elevate yourself to come back to human body. Very, very dangerous to fall back into the evolutionary cycle of lower species. Very, very greatest danger Prabhupada is explaining. Then Prabhupada explained about altruism, socialism, like world helping the world people, social service, all these things without God. If it is done, that is also a karma only. Very bad, like this. So many people, if you live a godless life, uh, with very good breathing, pranayama you're doing, or I'm maintaining my body by doing yoga. Okay, long time you maintain your body, what is the use? So that is the question. Very short life also you live, but it should be God-centered life, and it must have some value rather than uselessly eating, sleeping, mating, defending, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Like this, eating, I set up my life very nicely. So the tree also living very long life, and he gives example of animals, and we saw that how animals, they just beget children, and we saw that the people froth in the mouth and work and to solve the economic problems of life. So then giving a God-centered life, which is explaining how to live a God-centered life, total akarma is given in Nectar of Devotion, and we'll see that we saw. And we also had an elaborate discussion on all these things. Then we went to the next mantra, which is 3, who is the Atmaha, killer of the soul. So this is the negative portion of not accepting the proprietorship. So the previous one is Akarma person who lives a devotional life in God consciousness. And this is about a person who doesn't accept the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord. So that negativity. So we saw that the human body is given all these beautiful facilities for what? For God consciousness. To cross this ocean of material existence, not to entangle further and further. So the Atmaha is a person, despite having all these wonderful facilities in the body and guru and scriptures and everything, still doesn't cross this ocean of existence. Then we saw dog, hog, camels, asses. And there is atheistic leaders. Everybody is going towards darkest region of animal body, gliding down in the cycle of evolution. So then we saw the soul killing civilization. The facility of the human body is given for higher realization. Yeah, this one I put extra. There are two things, Suchi and Srimat. In case even if a shorter life you live, but you didn't execute Krishna consciousness properly, you didn't execute it nicely, you failed in Krishna consciousness, still there is great benefit than to be a very successful person in the material world. Even if you're a total failure in Krishna consciousness, so high class compared to a very, very successful person in the material world. So the executing Krishna consciousness will result in Suchi and Srimat we saw. Suchi is appear in a family of advanced Brahmana, or Srimat means very rich family, you will appear. So human body is guaranteed. And there are many religious leaders who have come here, and cheating religions are going on in the Kali Yuga, and Prabhupada is especially warning us that their ultimate aim is material prosperity only, and the Bhagavad Gita calls them as Atma Sambhavita. Atma Sambhavita means they are considered very great because they have big projects. They have lot of ignorant people following them. Great crowd is there. By their material wealth only, and also big followers. They have foolish followers, but large crowd. So the leaders also will reach into they may be in different robes and shapes and sizes and different religion, yoga process, meditation process, breathing process, but the show of religion. But that is not genuine. They have an ulterior motive behind that. So that is why. So we have to solve, the purpose of life is to solve all the problems of life with this only. Not think beyond the food and shelter. Oh, where will I get my food? Where will I get my shelter? If I settle down with that, I'm happy. So sometimes we see that the people come and ask us, they either would have lost the job, or a lady, one time a lady called recently and asked, she has problem in her family. So she asked, can women stay in ISKCON? So first I told, you have trouble in your life, then don't try to escape it. Just stay there. First you chant Hare Krishna. And dire you become a good devotee, then we will see whether we can be accommodating you somewhere or not. Don't run to Krishna consciousness for economic problems, solving economic problems, that is solved even by an ordinary person. So enter into ISKCON like as a devotee, not as to solve the economic problems. So I told her that first you sort out your problem. How? No, I cannot sort out. It's too much. It's too complicated. Okay, then you start chanting Hare Krishna mantra and become a devotee first, and then let us see. So just that, okay, can I come? It's a Krishna conscious. So economic problem. Will I get a job? Will I get a... So this is not it. You should think beyond. I'm having birth, death, old age, disease. Why am I dying? I won't stop my death. At least think big. Think for big problems and how to get the solution for all the problem. So Prabhupada is telling the biggest problem is birth, death, old age, and disease, and we need to stop it. For that, you should have a spiritual body. So you are supposed to develop your spiritual body when using this material body in devotional service. Because right now we got struck up. So Prabhupada also says that it is a best use of bad bargain, like that. This is a bad bargain. We already got this body and it's a bad bargain. But we should make the best use of this bad bargain. So always don't go low and just think for your regular food and shelter. How will I manage my food and shelter and whatever? So like this alone. So it's this economic problem is solved by God, who are for even animals who are dependent on him. Sometimes we don't depend on him, but what we do is we demand. Give me this, give me that. But the animals and birds, they don't accumulate. Prabhupada is starting by telling if a bag of rice is kept in the street, the birds will come and take a little bit, but a greedy man will pull the entire bag into his home. Like, because he doesn't have faith, tomorrow God will provide me. But the animals and birds are being provided every single day. Someday will be too good for them, someday will be reasonably good, someday will be a little bad, but still the day goes on and they live their life. So just so we get entangled with, can I get a job, can I get this thing, education, in this way if I build a home, if I get married, that's the aim of life, like that. So very cheap thinking. So here Prabhupada advises to think beyond, think high class, think magnanimous. Okay, so this is a summary which I already showed you. So mantra 1, mantra 2, mantra 3. Mantra 1 is Krishna as the supreme proprietor. Mantra 2, one who accepts Krishna as supreme proprietor and acts in that way, in Krishna conscious way, he can keep on be living hundreds of years without getting entangled. And mantra 3 says that if somebody rejects the Krishna's supreme proprietorship and claims himself to be the owner, whatever, he's called Atmaha, or the killer of the soul. And he will descend to darkest region, which is Ashuric planets, and also to animalistic bodies. So animal kingdom, he will be born in again. So this is the danger. Then now 4 and 5, we also saw the inconceivable potency of the Lord. So here there are two things which are mentioned. One is the God is a person, because very, very fast he is walking. So if you see the second one, he walks, but he doesn't walk. So if you see some religions, proper authorized religions also, they say that God is very supreme. He need not walk. He can just appear in front of you. Why he should walk? People, why they are walking? Because they have to reach from point A to point B. So if they have to walk, then they start from point A and go towards B and reach it. But if Krishna wants, is in point A, he can just appear in point B. He need not even put an effort of walking. But of course, for the pastimes he walks. That's what is being conveyed here. That he is a person. His ability to walk is there. But he is enjoying in Goloka Vrindavana. At the same time, he is walking, he is running when he appears here. Even in Goloka Vrindavana, he is walking and enjoying. And when in material world also, his potency is there everywhere. So these two slokas are almost connected slokas, which talk about first personality. Supreme God is personality. And he has many potencies, but specifically categorized under three potency: marginal, external, internal potency. And then it again discusses about God only. So these two slokas are completely about God. Coming slokas are about devotee. So the Lord's inconceivable power of contradictions, he can do something at the same time not do something. So this, in this way, first is a personality is established. So although in this about this loka, so God is a person, and with the inconceivable potency, he can approach. He has inconceivable potency, and mainly he is approachable by devotees. This is what we saw many things about Archa Vigraha and all that. You had discussion. And before that also you had like how by without God's blessings you cannot actually even know him. Even if he is present personally before you, you cannot recognize him unless he showers his mercy on you. Without his mercy you cannot realize it. So is of course he can be known by his devotees through his mercy. That also a pure devotee will, as a spiritual master, he will reveal. Or Krishna himself has to reveal. Mostly now in Krishna consciousness, devotees are revealing, like Srila Prabhupada came and told, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. This direct statement, everybody is hesitant. Maybe that Baba is God, maybe he is God, maybe we should not offend them, yaar. Let them live because maybe he is God. In case if he is God, what will happen? So that means you are doubtful. But Prabhupada is so clear, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one of his Grahastha servants who always used to travel with him, the Grahasthas also those days, never congregation was there. So Guru Maharaj is the Congregational Development Ministry, very, very little congregation, and they were not accepted as proper devotees. Like that was there during Prabhupada's time, initially especially. And then they traveled with Prabhupada and they had a small daughter. And the Saraswati, her name is, and you can see in some pictures, Prabhupada is playing with some rose he is giving to that baby. The baby is coming and taking this Saraswati. So this baby, he went to, Prabhupada was watching, and she went to one of the Matajis and told, Mataji, you know who is Krishna? Then that Mataji asked, who? Then she said, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada said, this is preaching and that's it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead word has so much things involved. Like we see Supreme Proprietor, Supreme Enjoyer, the Supreme Controller of all his energies, inconceivable universes, inconceivable energies, and so many millions of universes. He is the controller. So much we can understand by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here one example I told you about Sarvam Bhattacharya. Later he was revealed Sadbhuja form, but there is Gopinath Acharya. He told you cannot understand God even if he's staying in your own home unless he showers your mercy on you. So in this way he prayed every day so that Lord Chaitanya will reveal himself to Sarvam Bhattacharya, and he revealed later. Of course, six-handed form also he revealed, like Rama, Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So yeah, and also that Lord is living in his own abode. He's a personality first. By his mercy only we can know him. And then he is living in his own abode of Goloka Vrindavan. So it is stated, even if a non-devotee philosopher travels through the space, he is meditating. In this way, he is searching behind God. In the speed of mind, he is traveling, or in the speed of the wind or the mind. Is traveling for millions of years also. He cannot even touch the supreme abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is still far away. So if we can say it's impossible to touch the Lord either with mental meditation or by physical equipments like Sputnik or technological rocket, missile, this, that, they are finding out so many things. So using that space shuttles, you cannot reach. How much ever speed you maximize the speed, still you cannot reach the abode of Goloka Vrindavana or whatever the spiritual world. It cannot be touched. It's very far from us. So we are here in this darkest region. And the Prabhupada mentions about how Krishna, his energy is spread everywhere. So here you see this energy is spread everywhere, and Krishna is very far. So the yogi tries to catch Krishna from the material world. If you see the material world, even in this picture, it is so far. So within this universe, think somebody is sitting in the middle planetary system, a small place in that way, small India, in that small India, small. and somebody is sitting and thinking, I am God. Either they think I am God, or through mental meditation on the power of wind or power of mind, they travel, still they cannot reach, because they need to really cross a lot, and that can be reached only by a perfect methodology of surrender. Mm. So Prabhupada is giving how is inconceivable potency spread everywhere. The analogy which Srila Prabhupada gives is fire and the heat and light. The fire may be glowing somewhere else, but there may be some trees, some buildings, whatever. But in a little distance, you can also feel the light and heat. If there is a fire, around that entire area will be hot, and also there will be some lighting. So we know that there is going to be some fire somewhere. That is why there is light. Hmm? So same way, even though Krishna is situated in his own Goloka Vrindavana, like the fire is situated somewhere else, but the heat and light is somewhere else, people are feeling little far around that area. Same way, here also, like Krishna is there, and his inconceivable potency, he has spread the created, manifested the entire thing, and is present also everywhere, like the light and heat are present by fire. Same way, Krishna's presence is there everywhere in the universe. There is nothing which is untouched by Krishna. So then we also saw mantra 5. In mantra 5, we saw that the how walking, Krishna walks but doesn't walk. So we had a detailed discussion on deity worship and idol worship. And because first thing you need to understand, Lord is a personality, and he is made up of spiritual body, not the same material body like us. Or he doesn't undergo the rules and regulation of either a stone or a metal in which the deity is made. He doesn't undergo that the material changes. Like Guru Maharaj told a very nice pastime. Um, mm, Rajapur Jagannath in Jagannath Mandir. Um, mm, After many, many years, the deity was found out. One time on Gopa, he will be bringing cows. And every day, the cows, one of the cow will go on top of the one small hillock, and it will keep pouring the milk on top of the hillock. So the person who's tending the cows becomes angry, and this boy ran behind, and he saw that actually the cow was pouring the milk for some in the same place. So what they did is, and there nothing grows except tulsi. So they removed that mud, and they saw the Jagannath deities, Jagannath Baladev Shodramai came out. So they know they recovered, and that same deities are established in Rajapur. It's very, very old time deity. And Guru Maharaj told actually they are made up of wood. And the hill on which they were there, they were underneath, were a termite hill. So you generally, the termite will keep eating the wood. They generally prey on wood. They generally eat the wood and survive. That is the way they live. But in the inside the termite hill, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadrama deity were taken. They are totally untouched. No banga, very, very clear. There's no damage. There's no termite eating, nothing. So his body is spiritual. Lord's body is spiritual. So that we should understand. So we also saw that how Archavigra deity installed, and a little bit from 8th purport also we saw. Okay. So this is the revision of what we did. So we are coming to the end of 5th verse. So 5th verse we discussed elaborately about deity worship and things like that. So I would like to give you a little summary diagram which I showed you in this the same way I would like to show you, but right now I didn't prepare that slide. So a quick recap of what is the 4th and 5th verse can be done next day before starting the session. Okay. So all of you understood. I would like to hear from you 2 minutes, just 1 minute or 2 minutes, 1 or 2 lines only. What is the content? If possible, from invocation till mantra 5. What is the content? So 4 and 5, I'm repeating. 4 and 5 talks about the Supreme Lord, his personality. Means personality means some of his characters, his unlimited potency. And he's present in one place at the same time. He's everywhere. He doesn't walk, but he walks. He doesn't walk means he's situated in his own place. He may be sitting very nicely in Goloka Vrindavana under a tree. But here in the material world, he may be lifting Govardhan, he'll be playing so many pastimes. And as other expansions and incarnations, he may be creating universes. And within the universe, he may be appearing in front of some. He'll do so many things, even the material creation, marginal energy, internal energy, external energy, all the three belongs to Krishna. And they are categorized under this potency. So inconceivable potency is the concept of the 4th and 5th verse, just now as we saw. Okay, so I would call down, so quickly, if you can. Somebody want to voluntarily start, or can I call out the name? Okay. Yes.
Yes, the invocation mantra tells about how Krishna is complete, whole, and he is perfectly complete in spite of his incarnations, everything. He is perfect. That is what he says, and whatever he created is also completely perfect. So, since we are detached from him, we are not able to understand the sense of completeness. Then mantra 1, it talks about karma, akarma, vikarma, the cycle of death, born and death, how we can be, how we should not fall again into this cycle of birth and death. Then mantra 2, why people don't want to die, they want to live for 100 years, like that. It talks about again the karma bandhana. So we have to get rid of this karma bandhana, free from actions of karma, akarma and vikarma. Then mantra 3 talks about these animal kind of things, how each human being's character, they compare each of the human being character to the animals like asses, camels, and hogs and dogs. So the sloka explains, if it is a dog, how we get educated blindly with no faith in with guru, like that. Every animal is compared to different characters of human being. Then mantra 4 talks about the killer of the soul. Am I correct, Mataji? The killer of the soul, mantra 4 talks about.
Yes. Yes.
Then
mantra 4, mantra 3, no?
Okay. Oh,
because you started with invocation, no? You're thinking invocation is first mantra.
Oh, okay.
And that is the issue. No other issue. It's correct only. Okay. First is invocation, then mantra 1, mantra 2, mantra 3, and the mantra 3 is the 4th sloka.
Okay, Mataji.
If you include invocation, right only. Yeah, go ahead. Next sloka is.
Then he also talks about God is in fixed place, but still he can control all the energies that he created. And then mantra 5 talks about in the potencies of God, the inconceivable potencies of God. Like he is everywhere, he can use his hands to, hands to walk, legs to pick up, like that. Some contradicting characters he has. And he also talks about, the sloka talks about the ideal, the deity, the powerness of deity worship, and people who are considering the deity as the idol is considered to be foolish. And God also reserves the right to take care of the devotees. And he also, the sloka also explains about the level of surrenderness. Yes, Mankaji.
Thank you. Anybody else? Just now I gave you overview, so I'm expecting from your side. Want to know whether you slept off or let me call the name. Okay. Abhishek.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hari Bol, go ahead.
So, yeah, but I don't remember exact means the whole thing, but as a summary, I can try. So first mantra invocation in the Isopanisad, it is said that the completeness. It is talking about the completeness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Krishna. So he is complete whole, and everything which emanates means which is emanating from him, or whatever his creation, it is also complete, even if it is separate from him in existence, but still it doesn't diminishes the value of the original the next verse. Actually, it is jumble of Mataji, so I don't remember step by step. So in the next, it is talking about the about means the living entities. Those who are living entities, they should only means take what it is sanctioned, and not try to uh, uh, accept anything which is outside outside the sanction limit as provided by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it also talks about the karma, vikarma, and how the devotional service it is uh, independent, means from this cycle of chain from this karmic and vikarmic reaction. And also next verses we read that the comparison is given between uh, the persons who are acting in the modes uh, of material nature. There is comparison provided with the various animals like camels, dogs, and donkeys. So these comparisons have been made, and the next verse, uh, it is talking about the deity worship of the Lord, like means the deity form of the Lord, means how it is non-different from worshipping the Supreme Lord Himself. Like it is a bona fide way, method to worship Him, and not a. It is not an concocted philosophy. So this thing we understand. Um, I know
very good.
some parts I'm missing, but still
No, I don't want to elaborate. I really want like this only. Everybody has to say also, and you should be able to summarize. Very nicely you did. Anamika?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, I am attending this class from 1.3. So there is elaborately spelling the who is the killer of the soul, and then we're likely like dog, hog, camel, and ass. That's like we are getting our life day by day. And that the fourth number is Upanishad. Fourth number part is the incarnation of God, number is the actual deity worship and idol worship. That's it, Mataji.
Very good. You're remembering whatever is being discussed in the class. So the group discussions are very useful. That much I can understand.
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
Mhm. Okay. Go through that book in your free time, the purports. Huh?
Okay,
Okay.
Mataji.
Disha?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mahaji, so in the invocation, we read about the completeness of the Lord, how that although so many incarnations are coming out of Him, all the incarnations are complete, and the God Himself also remains complete. Even the material world is complete. And then in the next, like the starting mantras, uh, we understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything, and there's a quota set aside for everybody, and one should only take that thinking it belongs to God and should not encroach into others' property. Then in the next verse, we read about karma, vikarma, and akarma. In that, karma and vikarma are both activities which bind us in the material world. Karma is good activities, but it still binds and gives us like uh, enjoyment, like reactions where we can enjoy. But vikarma is a situation where we are doing bad activities, and primarily these bad activities are meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling. So we do these activities. It's a vikarma, and it gives us bad reactions. We suffer in the reactions basically, but we are supposed to do akarma. These are reactions which don't bind us in the material world, and by doing such activities one can go on living for a very long time. Then we read about Atmanaha, the killer of the soul. In this, basically, uh, we see that the living entity has been given certain responsibilities uh, as a human being because his consciousness is most evolved. And that responsibility is to search for the Supreme Lord. And if one doesn't search for the Supreme Lord and just ends up living like animals, um, various animals like hogs, dogs, camels are given as examples. Like if the human beings ends up having the propensities of animals only, it's again going to glide down into those lower species of animals, and again has to go through the evolution cycle. So that's about it in the third mantra, where human life is meant for self-realization. Then the is fourth and fifth, I'll say combined. We read about the uh, we spoke about the differences between deity worship and idol worship. We learned about the Archa Vigraha form, and in the fifth verse particularly, we see the contradictory qualities of the Lord. Like he walks, he doesn't walk. He's inside, he's outside, and his interaction with the devotee, he depends on the surrender of the devotee. So this is there in the fifth mantra. Yeah, Maji, I think that's about it.
Thank you, Disha. Excellent. Yeah, so I think fifth and some cloudy feel
Yeah,
I
I think
have.
fourth one is cloudy for me.
No, not yours. Generally, nobody mentioned it. So this portion I want to explain to you. That Goloka Eva, see although fixed in his own abode, this mantra 4, although he is fixed in his own abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome. So this can overcome everybody in running. So he is the swiftest, fastest, it is mentioned. So that is what is depicted here. If you see the material world, Supreme Lord is there everywhere, but he is actually situated in Goloka Vrindavana. But a person who is trying to, there are two things called ascending and descending. When a person is trying to ascend himself and reach the Lord by his own either mental speculation or meditation, any process, even if it is in the speed of mind, which is considered very high speed, and even in the speed of wind, whatever speed he is doing it, second, however longer he is doing, millions and millions of years, million of years he's doing also, he cannot even reach very, very far away from Goloka Vrindavan or whatever is the spiritual kingdom, is not even cannot approach at all. So that is far away, but at the same time, Lord is situated in his abode here, but his potency, this potency you should know, internal potency, external potency, and marginal potency. So Krishna has so many energies, unlimited energies, they are spread everywhere. They are spread everywhere. So that example is given of course, Lord here, he stayed very, very far away. And when the yogi is trying to meditate upon the Lord, he is in the materialistic plane here. In the materialistic plane here, he is there. So if you see, there is Ananta Sesha holding, then we have one bubble. This I don't know. Time to explain. Okay. So most of you would have known this, no? I'll
Yes,
give a
Mataji.
very, okay. Anybody else? How many of you have not seen this before? You would have seen it, but have a clear explanation of this? Vinay,
Brahmanda.
Brahmanda. So you're talking about Anda means egg, no? So one Brahma is ruling one egg. Like this, you can see here one Brahmanda is there. There is one egg in this side. And there is one here, one here, one here. Like that, millions of eggs are there. Each of the Brahmanda has a Brahma. Anda means egg. And Brahmanda means egg which is ruled by Brahma. So this, you have this. And in our Prabanja, we have four-headed Brahma. So we have in this universe 400 Brahma, 10-headed Brahma, 20-headed Brahma, 50-headed Brahma, 100-headed Brahma, various universes. Each of the universes creation is taken care by that Brahma, and ours is one of the smallest universes with four-headed Brahma. In four-headed Brahma's universe, there are totally 14 planetary systems. So we are situated in Bhuloka here, this earth planetary system. It's not a globe, it's actually a plane thing. We are not living in the globe and the globe is not moving. We are in a static plane only. And of course, the sun is moving. That is different. Here we see that the sun, moon, the stars in the sky, everything we are seeing here. And then the earth is a plane circle here, like a disc. Bhutala, it is told. The tala means it's a plain flat surface, okay? And then we have atala, vitala, everything tala, 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 like ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, like that. Atala, vitala, sutala, tala, tala, mahatala, rasatala, patala. Like that, 7 planetary system down is there under the Bhuloka. Then above the Bhuloka, we have Bhuvar Loka, Suvar Loka, Mahar Loka, Tapo Loka, Janya Loka, Satya Loka. Like that, we have 14 planetary system. And in the 14 planetary system, we are all the conditioned souls, and it's by default very dark. It's fully pitch dark. And in order to illuminate this darkness, we have sun, moon, and the stars. So because of sun only, we are getting some light. Otherwise, this naturally by default, it's all black. It's all very dark. So we are in darkness only. Just because there is sun, then we are able to see each other. We are able to see the items. All this is possible only because of the sun. And then this is one universe. This is the Mahavishnu is lying, is breathing out. Many universes come in. And when he breathes in, all the universes get destroyed. So this is Mahavishnu, one of the expansion of Krishna. Then beyond this material covering is actually the Garbha ocean. Karana ocean. And in the Karana ocean, the Mahavishnu is lying. And when he's breathing out many bubbles of universes, and when he breathes in, it goes. And that is millions and millions and trillions of years together. What is this? And above that is Brahma Jyoti. And above that is Vaikuntha planets. And above the Vaikuntha planets is Goloka Vrindavan Dham, which is the highest of all the planets. So Krishna is situated here, and he is situated also as Paramatma within your heart. So he is situated in Vaikuntha also as his expansion. And in Brahmajyoti also he is situated in the form of light. And in Karna ocean he is lying down as Vishnu. And within the universe he is situated in various incarnations. He is coming, and then Vishnu. He has many Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu and Shirodaka Sai Vishnu. But he is also residing as Paramatma within your heart, listening. And he is also residing in the Archa Vigraha. And when you perform something, you can feel the reciprocation of the Lord. So in this way, even though he is present in his own abode, but he is present everywhere also. So that is the concept. So, and a very nice example is given by Srila Prabhupada. This, there is a fire. When the fire is somewhere else, in far away also you can feel the heat and light. It will be far away, but then when you see the light and heat, you understand, okay, there is a fire somewhere, that's why I'm getting it. Some heat is coming, some light is coming. Same way, it is compared to, the Supreme Lord is compared to the fire, and then and his energies are everywhere in the material world, in spiritual world, everywhere his energies are there. So this one concept you should remember also. Okay, next person. Jivesh.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, go ahead.
Yes. So in the invocation, mostly God's completeness is being described, and how God is complete along with his energies, which is being emanated from him only. And in the first verse, so God's control is being described, that how everything which is like moving or non-moving, God is having control over it. And every like living entity is having its quota, like the example Prabhupada gives, and that if you keep a bag of rice, and the birds or the animals will only take their share of quota, but human beings are so greedy that they will take away the whole sack only. So this is also being described, that everybody is given their share of quota, and God is having full control over it. So in the mantra 2, it is being it is being said about the three. Mostly it is about three different type of karmas: karma, karma, and vikarma. So karma is mostly the good activities one may aspire to go to higher planets and all, and get a good life in the next life. And vikarma is bad, like meat eating and all. And akarma is transcendental. So one example that you are quoting regarding Krishna, that people tell that Krishna comes to kill the bad people and to save the good people, but actually he comes to reciprocate with his devotees. So they are actually akarmis; they are not karmis, which do good activities. And coming to the third verse, so it is being mentioned about that killer of the soul. in which three kinds of peoples are being mentioned. That peoples who behave like asses, like camels, and sorry, means there are peoples who are like swines, dogs, camels, etc. So these kinds of people are there. So who like uselessly like make efforts uh, to solve economic problems. So whereas they should be concerned about solving the material like problems related to material life, uh, which have been placed because of the laws of nature. And in the fourth verse, so it has been mentioned about as you were just telling about right now only. So one can do yoga practice and all for millions of years, and they can travel also with the speed of their mind also, but still they won't be able to reach there. And also God is situated. It is very inconceivable for that person who is trying on his own to reach God, because it is very inconceivable, because God is situated in his abode and still he is present everywhere. And just now we saw that chart from from a single material world to till Goloka. And in the
Okay.
fifth verse, okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. So in the fifth verse, so Lord's again that inconceivable potency of the Lord is being mentioned. That how Lord can walk, and again he doesn't walk. Like that example is there, that there is one point A and there is one point B. So he necessarily he should not walk to reach point B. He can just appear, or he can walk also. So both the things are there. It's his desire, whatever he wants to do. So so yes, so these are the five verses, and mostly the from all the five verses we come to know God's how God is complete, how God is complete, His control over the thing. What is our purpose as a living entity? As a living entity, as we have known that how God is complete, how God is having control over all the things, how God is inconceivable. Only through His mercy we can achieve. So and we should not be always concerned about the economic problems. We should be concerned about how to get out of this entangled material way of life that we are living in. So yes, this is the conclusion.
Very good. Excellent. Next, Navneet Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah.
I joined in between, Mataji. Sorry, I had office work, but
Hmm.
I will say what. In the invocation, Prabhupada says that God is Sachidananda Vigraha. We can Sachit Ananda Vigraha. We have to realize all the three, and he's always complete and balanced, and irrespective of how many our expansion God has, he's still complete, and all his expanses also complete and balanced. So he's always Purna. That's the first first one. And on the first sloka, talk about that the Lord owns all that is existing, material as well as spiritual. Everything is owned by God, and we have our own quotas, and we have to that has been given to us by the Lord, and we need to use what we have in the service of the God Lord. We are having four defects, and all the four defects, right? Illusion, commit mistakes, cheating propensity, and the fourth one. So we have all the four defects, because of which we cannot see the absolute truth which is in front of us. We have the Vedas, as we can follow the Vedic scriptures, and the path of Guru, where we can get the guidance. Though we are in defect, by having spiritual service, we can realize uh, the Lord. And second mantra talks about karma bandhana, more in terms of akarma and sorry, karma, sakarma and vikarma. So any good karma, bad karma, both will lead to bondage. Akarma does not lead to the material bondage, and akarma is more is related to be following the Vedic scriptures and serving the Lord. So by that we can be free from the cycle of birth and death by devotional service, that is performing akarma. And third mantra is talking about the killer of the soul, how one can lead a animalistic life like hog, dog, or camel by kind of by being by killer of the soul. What I understood mainly is not following the Vedic uh, 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 Vedic life and not serving the Lord and not following the path of God realization, because we have been given all that in our quota, but we need to use it in the service of God, and we need to use our life to follow and realize God, the Lord. But if you're not able to realize it, then we again will fall into the cycle of birth and death and may not take a human birth. And fourth mantra talks about Lord is always fixed in one place. He's also there everywhere. He's he controls everything that is in the material as well as spiritual world. He's far, far away. He cannot be perceived by any yogi. Uh, I mean, except whoever is in devotional service, anybody who's doing any yoga practices, trying to travel at any speed, wind or mind, they cannot reach God because he's very, very far, far away. They cannot realize him. The only way to realize the Lord is by the mercy of the Lord himself. Only when Lord wants, he can show to us. Otherwise, we cannot realize the Lord. And uh, Guru, we can take. Uh, we have to follow and take mercy of Guru, who can make us sail in the boat. I mean, if you think the spiritual platform as a boat where we follow our Guru, so we can realize, or we can start realizing the Lord by mercy of Guru. And fifth mantra talks about deity worship, where there is a the Lord is always present in the spiritual world. Since the normal person cannot realize God through his imperfect senses, God also has expanded, just like all other expansions. God is expanded in the form of Archa Vigraha. So a normal person can see the Lord. Archa Vigraha, though it is material, so when we have the Lord uh, who's kind of um, come into the Vigraha by the request of the Acharyas, the Lord can be seen and served in the form of Archa Vigraha by us. And and uh, and yeah, so that's I mean, we also talk about everything that we spoke from first to fourth. What I understand is more towards doing devotional service and trying to do our purpose of life. We have our duties. So even if we fall down from the point of not performing our duties, or we kind of slide down a little bit from our duties, so we again get an opportunity, not falling down into another species, uh, into being born in a Suchi or Srimat family. Srimat, Shuchi means being in a Brahminical family, and Srimat mean being in born as rich family, in the rich family, so that we again are given opportunity to continue our spiritual service by being born as a human again. Yeah, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. ಕೇಳ್ಕದಿಲ್ಲ. Prabhu, you are able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear
Okay.
now.
Okay,
I
Mataji.
sorry. I was muted. I didn't know I was speaking.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Shri Mataji, Hare Krishna.
I was muted and I was speaking. Okay. It is 10:35. So anybody else volunteering? Quickly, 5 minutes. Quick. 3 minutes, 2 minutes.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Mataji.
Yes, go ahead, Vinay.
So in invocation, it is said that how God is Krishna is complete, and all emanations which emanate from is also complete. And in mantra 1, it is said that Krishna is the proprietor of everything, whether it is spiritual or material, and we have our own quota, and we have to just accept what is given to us. And in mantra 2 speaks about the karmas, that is akarma, karma and vikarma. If it explains that how karma and vikarma bind us in karma bandhana, and it makes us to go in 84 lakh species, and in last it is explained that how one can do akarma by performing activities which are prescribed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Sri Rupa Goswami. And in third mantra it is said that how animals eat, they sleep, they mate and they defend, but in human form of life we have to getting into all this why we are accepting birth, why we are accepting death. So if we do that, then we are doing the actual use of our human life. If we don't do that, then we are killing our soul. And in mantra 4 it is said that even if God is situated in his abode, he is also present in each and is present everywhere. So, and in mantra 5 it is said that how it is speaks about how speaks about the inconceivable power of the Lord, that and particularly it speaks about the archa vigraha. If by the mercy, by the request of acharya, the Lord with his inconceivable energy changes the material thing into spiritual, uh, and he gives us the opportunity to serve the Lord in the archa vigraha form.
Oh,
Thank you,
excellent,
Mataji.
yeah. Very nice, very nice. Okay, anybody else? Okay, many people repeated it, so most of you would have got a very good review of this 5 slokas, mantras. We won't visit it again. So this is it, and we'll be going to the next verses, next set of verses in the coming classes. So I'll just give a. We are going to talk about mantra 6 to 8 together as a section, and this section describes about description of Mahabhagavata devotee. So all the 3 mantras which are going to come, 6, 7, 8, is going to talk about a devotee only. So we saw that earlier we saw a description of God and then as Purnam, not very specifically, and then as a proprietor. And then we saw that how he is contradictory character and he is having inconceivable potency and all. Now what we are going to see is about his devotee, Mahabhagavata, who is a Mahabhagavata devotee. Then in that we will see 3 categories, Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttamadhikari. See, everywhere we are coming out with nice concepts: karma, karma, vikarma, three things we saw. Internal potency, marginal potency, external potency we saw. Now here we will see the devotees, especially who is a Mahabhagavata devotee who systematically will see the soul, Lord, and their relationship. Soul, Lord, and the relationship can be, he can see it. And then we will also see the Madhyama and Uttamadhikari. He sees the soul as part and parcel of Krishna. And he will see qualitatively, minutely one with the personality of our Lord and the Lord's energy. Achinte Beda Beta Tattva. He'll see the soul as equal to Krishna but different from Krishna. So he is beyond illusion and anxiety. Soka Mohad Bhayanakam will see. So he won't have Soka, Moka, Bhaya. All these qualities will not be there in the devotee. And such a person should know the transcendental eternal form of absolute Lord. His body is spiritual Satsidananda with spiritual limbs, self-sufficient, greatest, purest. So he will know God also. He will know the relationship with God and the living entity also. And the very first, living entity. And he'll also know that the living entity is the energy of the Lord. So with this is 3 slokas talks about devotee, categorization of devotee, and especially about Mahabhagavata devotee. Mahabhagavata is Uttamadhikari, or the greatest of. Sometimes we say that, okay, why do we need to discriminate between devotees? All the devotees are same. Not like that. There is a gradation. Of course, there is grades. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, like that. So there is grades of devotees, and the third grade, the topmost grade, is Mahabhagavata devotee. So we'll have a look at this from tomorrow. Okay, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Any questions or comments? We can take one question or now, if it's there. Otherwise, you can post it to me. Don't hesitate to post it to me if you have any questions.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Jivesh.
So, in the human form, you are mentioning that 4 lakh yonis are there. So, in this, the demigods and asuras also come. So when we
Yes.
talk, about that humans can only do devotional service and all. So these then demigods and asuras can also do this and go back to Godhead.
Yeah, human variety. Like we have, for example, dog we have. Okay, in the dog we have, as I told you, we have Pomeranian dog, Alsatian dog, Doberman. Like that, there is various types of dogs. But they all belong to the category. Same way, the human form, it's not human beings, me and Manushya alone, or Manu. We are descendants of Manu. Swayambhuva Manu, and further in Bhagavatam, you will very clearly know how we got descended from Swayambhuva Manu, those who live in earthly planetary system. But also in the earthly planetary system, there is Kim Purusha Varsha, where you see Hanuman. Hanuman is a Kim Purusha. It's also human, but a kind of a ape kind of human variety. And he does worship of Lord Ramachandra. In this way, we have many varieties like Deva, Ashura, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Yavana, Milecha. So any human form of life, 4 lakh varieties are there. Gandharvas, Rishis, Munis, Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, like this. And the people who live in the forest who are uncultured, they are also there. What is that? Tsumba, Nisumba. These people are like hunters. Like this, there are 4 lakh varieties of human species. Sometimes you see Chinese. The Chinese race is called Kasha, Kashadaya. So this Kashadas or Kashadaya, it is called. In some slokas, they are mentioned as Kasha, sometimes Kasada, sometimes Kashadaya, like this. And then the people who are in total Western civilization is called Milechas. Arabians are called Yavanas. The Milechas, Yavanas. And then north of us is the Chinese, they are of another variety, Mongolian tribe kind of thing. But they are totally different in looking and the eating characters, culture, everything different from Africans. You see, you cannot compare, but they are all human variety. So there are 4 lakh such varieties totally. We may know only some, we can list only some, but actually 4 lakh varieties are there. And all human varieties are supposed to, they are all having better facility than animals, and they all have karma. So we are supposed to, the purpose of giving all this special facilities in the body of human variety is to search for God, search for our reason for existence, as I told you, to solve the puzzle of life. That is the purpose it is given. But when it is misused and exploiting other animals, killing them and this and that, and simply misusing that facility which is given for a higher purpose, then that facility is snatched away. So it involves Deva also, they should worship Krishna. Asura also, they should worship Krishna. There is no excuse for human variety for not accepting the supremacy of the Lord. Animals, it is forgiven, no problem. Even if they don't worship, it's okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Hari Bol. Oh, very nice to see that night 10:45. You're enthusiastic to ask questions. I'm feeling very enthusiastic. Thank you so much. Okay, any more questions or comments? You can post it in the group or privately to me, and I'll answer. We'll wind up now. Thank you very much. So let us offer the pranams to the Vaishnavas assembled, and also to the pure devotees who are blessing us to do this. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।